Republican Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick from the state of Texas was forced to cough up 25 grand last week after a Pennsylvania poll worker was able to make good on Patrick's bounty of providing evidence of voter fraud and getting a $25,000 reward for it. The only thing is that Dan Patrick didn't count on the voter fraud being committed by Trump supporters, and that is exactly what happened in the state of Pennsylvania. A man was convicted of voting or attempting to vote twice. And the man who claimed the $25,000 bounty was a poll worker. He is a Democrat, actually comes from a family of Democratic operatives, the reports say. And he noticed the man attempting to vote for a second time for Donald Trump. And then, of course, once he heard about Dan Patrick's bounty on proving voter fraud, he called him up and he got his check. He actually did get paid from Dan Patrick's campaign, which, by the way, has set aside $1 million for people to come forward with evidence of voter fraud. Of course, he, again, just didn't think it'd be coming from Trump supporters getting busted for it, which, as far as we've seen, nearly all. There's actually one exception that I know of, but other than that, all of the other cases of confirmed voter fraud that I have seen from the 2020 election has all 100% been Trump supporters. There is one case in Pennsylvania where it is a Democrat who has been accused of voter fraud. The other 4 cases from Pennsylvania have all been Republicans voting for Trump. There you go. But I have to wonder this, right? When you offer a bounty on something, sometimes it's because you want to catch people, right? But when you put such a high price on such a small thing that we know doesn't exist, that kind of tells me that you don't think you're going to get anybody taking you up on that offer. And I honestly believe that's what Dan Patrick thought. But Dan Patrick wants to prove voter fraud. So why the big price tag when you know, you've read the same reports, you've read the same news stories that the rest of us have, you know that your Trump people have been convicted of voter fraud since 2020. You know that. I think Dan Patrick put the price that high because he didn't think anybody was actually going to be able to pay it. Or claim it, I should say. He didn't think it was going to happen. Kind of like Mike Lindell with his cyber symposium said, I'll give anybody $5 million to prove me wrong. He made this exorbitant price tag on proving him wrong that he would pay out. Oh, and nobody claimed it. Oh, I must be so right. So I don't exactly get the motivation on Patrick's side. I know you want people to come forward and show that there's a lot of voter fraud. But did you really have to make it 25 grand on that? If you wanted, I think you did that because you knew there weren't that many cases. You only put aside $1 million for it. So that alone shows that you weren't expecting a whole lot of people to come forward with evidence of voter fraud, yet you insist there was massive voter fraud. So it doesn't make any sense. But at the end of the day, the big takeaway is that Dan Patrick had to pay a Democrat $25,000 because he caught a Trump supporter committing voter fraud.